Bracket matching is a very important concept when it comes to writing code for mathematical programs. Before you even start to solve an equation, you must first verify if the expression even valid or not. Hence, interviewers like to ask this question in a lot of coding rounds. A similar problem, matching brackets, is available on HackerRank. You are given a string that has some sequence of parentheses, and you need to determine if these parentheses make a valid expression. If you want a quick solution and just want to see the code, refer to the link in the description below to my GitHub profile. However, if you want to see how I came up with that solution, stick with me a little longer. Hello friends, welcome back to Study Algorithms, a place where I make programming fun and easy to learn. First, I will describe you the problem statement and show you some sample test cases. Next, we will try to solve this problem using the stack data structure. Going forward, we will come up with a solution without using any extra space. All of this with a dry run of the code. So, without further ado, let's get started. The best way to understand any problem is to understand the given sample test cases. But first of all, you must also know how is a sequence of braces is said to be valid. Specifically, there are two conditions. The number of opening braces should be equal to the number of closing braces, right? And the order in which you are opening these braces should be the same order in which you are closing these braces. For example, if you are opening a square bracket first, then you must close the square bracket first. If you are opening a parenthesis first, then you must close the parentheses first, right? So let us take up three sample cases one by one. In our first case, you see that we open the square bracket and then we close the square bracket, right? The number of opening braces and closing braces are same, and hence this case is valid, correct? Moving on to our next test case, we see that we open the square bracket first. Cool. Next, we are opening the round brackets. Going ahead, we are closing these round brackets. So far, this expression is valid. Going ahead, we again open the round brackets and then we again close the round brackets. Up till now, we haven't closed the square brackets, right? And hence, at the end, we see that, okay, the square brackets have also been closed. And hence, this expression is also valid. Looking at our third test case, let us go over it one by one. We start off with a square bracket and we close the square brackets. So far, so good. Next, we open a curly braces, right? Going ahead, we open the round braces. Going ahead, we close the round brackets. Next, we close the curly braces also. What happens when you move one step ahead? You see a dangling square bracket. Now, this is a closing bracket, but this was never opened anywhere, and hence this expression is said to be invalid. So, given such sequences of strings, you need to determine if these strings are valid or not. If these are valid, you need to return a yes. If not, you just need to return a no. You must be getting some idea now. So if you have any string with just the opening square bracket, this is also invalid. If you just have a string like this that has an opening square bracket but a closing curly bracket, this is also an example of an invalid string. So you can say that every pair of bracket must be matched. If there is a opening square bracket, then there should be a closing square bracket. If there is an opening curly bracket, then there should be a closing curly bracket, right? Now, if this problem is clear to you, feel free to try it out on your own. Otherwise, let us dive into the solution. First of all, think about how do you approach this problem. You need to find a way such that you can keep a track of all the opening parentheses and all the closing brackets, right? Think like this. If a bracket has been opened, then it must be closed too, right? Also, the number of opening brackets should match the number of closing brackets, correct? So now we know that we need to store somewhere the number of brackets that we're opening, right? Also try to think that the last bracket that we open should be the first bracket that we close, right? Think like this. If I'm opening a curly brace, then I'm opening a square bracket. Then what is the first bracket that you need to close? You need to close the square bracket first, and then you need to close the curly brackets, correct? Based upon this, we can come up with the solution. What did we just say? The bracket that opened at the last must be the first one to get closed, right? That should give you a hint. Last in, first out. And whenever you hear last in, first out, that means stack. So we will try to solve this problem using the stack data structure. But how do we do that? Let us take up a sample expression and we will try to solve it. So let us start from the first character. I see a square bracket that has been opened. Now we need to keep a track of it. So what do I do? Whenever I see any open bracket, I would just push it into my stack. So this bracket goes over here. Moving on to my next character. I now see a round bracket that has been opened. Remember, whenever you see any opening bracket, just push it into the stack. So I take my round bracket and I push it into my stack, correct? Moving on, I see a round bracket that has been closed. Remember what did we say? The last bracket that was opened should be the first bracket to be closed, right? And this is where our stack comes in handy. Whenever you see a closing bracket, just look into your stack. That will tell you the last bracket that was opened, right? So you check your stack. You see that, okay, the top of the stack has a opening bracket and hence these pair of brackets has been matched. So what I would simply do is I would pop this bracket from my stack, right? And now we are done with it. Let us move one step ahead. I now see a curly braces that has been opened. As soon as you see any opening bracket, just push it into the stack, correct? Let us move one step ahead. I would now see a opening square bracket. For every opening bracket, just push it into your stack. Moving one step ahead, I now see a closing bracket, right? As soon as you see a closing bracket, look into your stack. What is the bracket that you can find? You see a opening square bracket. That means this pair of brackets has also been matched. So what I would simply do is I would remove this bracket from my stack because this pair of bracket has been matched. Now we move one step ahead. This time we are again pointing at a closing bracket. Look into your stack again. What is the bracket that you find? You see a opening curly braces. That means once again your pair of brackets has been matched. So what you simply do is you again pop this bracket from the stack. Move one more step ahead. You again see a closing bracket. Whenever you see a closing bracket, just look into your stack. Your stack now has a opening bracket, right? And it is a square bracket as well. That means this pair of brackets has also been matched. So what you simply do is you pop this element from the stack. And now you have traversed your entire string and also your stack is empty. That means all the opening brackets have been matched with their closing brackets, right? And hence this expression is valid. Now let us try to take an example of a string that is not valid and see if stacks can help you over there. At a first glance, if you see this string, you know that this is not valid, right? But let us see if stacks can help to determine if it's valid or not. So you start off with your first character. You see a opening bracket, right? So you would push it into your stack. Moving on, I again see a opening bracket that is a curly bracket. I would push it into my stack. So far so good. Moving on one more step. I now encounter a closing bracket and that is a square bracket. Look at the top element of your stack. Your top element of your stack has a curly opening bracket. And if the expression was valid, then you should have first closed the curly bracket before closing the square bracket, right? So in this case, the opening bracket is not matching the closing bracket. And hence you can stop right over here and say that this expression is invalid. So you can see that you can use stacks to actually determine if the expression is valid or not. Now let us try to do a dry run of the code and see how this works in action. On the left side of your screen, you have the actual code to implement this solution using stacks. And on the right, let us take up a sample string. This string is actually valid, but let's see how you can determine this using the code. So you pass in this string as a input parameter to the function. Going ahead, we create a bracket stack that would hold all of our opening parentheses, right? Going forward, you start a for loop. Now, in this loop, we will iterate over each character of the string. So, in the next step, as soon as you see any opening bracket, just push it into the stack. So, right now, I have my square bracket as an opening bracket and I push it into my stack and I do a continue. So, I will move on to my next character. The next character is again a opening bracket, so I will push it into my stack. I again move to my next character and I see a round opening bracket. I would again push it into my stack. So far, we have encountered three opening brackets and we have pushed it into a stack. The next character that we encounter is a closing bracket, right? And it is a round bracket. So we need to look into our stack. Since this is a closing bracket, it must have an opening bracket, right? So there should be some element in your stack. So what we do is we just do a sanitary check on our stack. If our stack is empty, that means there won't be any opening brackets. And that would mean that the expression is invalid. So we would just return a no. Otherwise, we will try to match the elements in our stack. We try to pop the element. What we do is we find a opening bracket. In the subsequent statements, what do we check now? We see that if the next character is a closing bracket, then if the element that we pop from the stack is also a opening bracket of the same type. This time we had a closing bracket of a round type, right? And if the closing bracket is round, then the popped element should also be round, right? Otherwise, it won't be a valid expression. So this time it passes and the element would be popped from the stack. Going ahead, we would do the same for the curly brackets and the square bracket. And ultimately, our stack would be empty. Once this string has been passed, we just check if my stack is actually empty at the end. If my stack is empty, that means I have matched all the parentheses. So I would return a yes, otherwise I return a no. You can also observe that at any point of time, if the brackets do not match, then we straight away return a no. So this way we can determine if our expression is valid or not. The time complexity of this solution is order of n, and the space complexity of this solution is also order of n. That is because you are using a stack data structure to store all the opening parentheses. Now, let us try to see a solution where you can optimize the space. The solution that we came up using stacks is a pretty good solution, and it will give you a correct answer always. But sometimes you might be limited by the amount of space available to you. You do not want to use extra space to store all of your opening brackets. So what do you do next? If we apply some basic mathematical concept, then we can come up with an even efficient solution. Think like this. A bracket that has been opened should be eventually closed, right? And if you have any nested parentheses, they must be closed somewhere adjacent to each other, right? So if I have a square bracket, then a curly bracket. Now, this curly bracket needs to be first closed before you can close this square bracket, right? So, given an expression, you can start to eliminate all of the matching pairs. What do I mean by that? Let us take up this example. So, if you closely observe this example, we have some matching pair of parentheses. We have matching square brackets over here. What would you have done if you were solving this equation? You would have solved all of these values and substituted them with their answer, right? So think like you have solved them. And once you solve them, you remove the brackets, right? When I remove these brackets, this string would become something like, so you see, we got rid of all of our square brackets. If this was a mathematical expression, you would continue to solve your brackets, right? So once again, we will try to find all the matching brackets. This time, I can find only one matching bracket. If I would have solved this equation, this would now become, once again, I will try to find matching parentheses. This time I find this value. So Ultimately, my expression turns out to be just a pair of curly braces, and this expression is valid. So you see how we were able to efficiently get rid of the matching parentheses and arrive at our answer? Let us now take a case which is invalid. Let us take up this string and try to solve it using our elimination method. Let us find out all the brackets that we can solve. We can solve this pair of brackets and we can solve this pair of brackets. So let us get rid of them. This is the expression when we solve it one time. Now again try to find a pair of matching brackets. This time we found the round brackets to be matching. So let us eliminate them. Now you got this expression and try to find any matching brackets. You cannot find any matching brackets, right? Sure, there is a opening curly braces and a closing curly braces, but you have a closing square bracket in between, and hence this expression becomes invalid. So, for an expression to be valid, after all the eliminations, your string should eventually become empty. And using this ideology, you can determine if your expression is valid or not. Believe me, the code for this turns out to be very concise. Let us have a look at it. On the left side of your screen, you have the actual code to implement this solution. And on the right, let us try to take up a sample string. Now, try to think how you would have solved this question if it were a mathematical question. What do? You would continue to solve all the inner brackets followed by all the outer brackets, right? So, similarly, what we do is we start an infinite while loop and we will try to solve all the nested brackets first. So next, we just take up the original length of the string. This is used to determine if we have reached the end or not. Next, what you do is you replace all of the matching parentheses. What it means is if you can find a pair of matching square brackets, just remove them. If you can find a pair of matching round brackets, just remove them, and so on. So after first iteration, your string becomes something like this. Once you have solved all of the nested equations, what do? You find the new length. If this new length is now different from the original length, that means that you can now solve all of the outer expressions, right? So this loop will run again. When this loop runs again, you solve more inner brackets. So once you start to replace more of these matching parentheses, your string becomes something like this. Eventually, you will again find out the new length. If this new length is same as the original length, that means now you cannot solve the equation anymore. And this is where you break. Once you break out of the loop, just check if the length has turned to 0. That means, were you able to solve all of the matching pairs? If yes, that means your string was valid. If no, that means your string was not valid. The time complexity of this solution is still order of n. That is because you have to iterate over each character. But the space complexity of this solution is order of 1. That is because we are not using any extra space or any sort of data structure. I hope I was able to simplify the problem and its solution for you. As per my final thoughts, you can now start to think about the possibilities that we have to solve mathematical expressions. You can also start to think, how does a code compiler know about your missing brackets? You must have seen that your compiler would complain about, hey, a bracket is missing. This is what is happening behind the scenes. You can also see how we smartly use the last in first out property of the stack data structure. What other methods can you think of to solve this problem? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I would love to discuss all of them with you. You would be also glad to know that a text-based explanation to this problem is available on the website studyalgorithms.com, a pretty handy website to help you with your programming needs. I am including a link in the description below. As a reminder, if you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This motivates me to make more and more such videos where I can simplify programming for you. Also let me know what problem do you want me to solve next. Until then, see ya.